I think color coordination-wise, we're perfect today. We've got the bright yellow Mrunal in the middle. We've got Hrithik on the right side of that, looking fantastic as always. And I've also managed to match some colors in. So thank you so much, Hrithik, for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Nice
Mrunal, thank you so much. First time on our show.
Thank you.
You know, you always have the opportunity of meeting Hrithik Roshan once a year at least. This year we might meet him a little bit more. But good to see you in the film's zone. You know, I always say this, the transition period, especially for when you're doing television, very successful television show. So when you end up doing film, you end up leaving a lot of money behind. You end up doing film, and that also very hardcore cinema.
Yeah.
So before we speak to Hrithik about Super 30, which has received so much acclaim and a lot of questions also, we'll come to that. But you had a very interesting transition from television to film.
Right.
Wasn't like the ideal scenario. I mean, I would have thought one would have chosen a more ideal path.
Well, to be very honest, a lot of people told me that, Mrunal, you're so silly, you know, you're doing so well in television, you should just continue doing television. Yeah. Why do you want to risk your career? You're not going to get films. And it's difficult, you know, for a television actor to get a role in...
A big role also.
Big role in Bollywood because, you know, there's this stereotype where things are changing now, I must say, because I started my career with Tabriz Noorani and, you know, the team who did not believe in ki, oh, she's a television actor or she's a theatre actor or she's, you know, so the thing is that even when there were articles coming up, I was a little sad about, I was hurt in fact, about the fact that they would always add television actor or a theatre actor. An actor is an actor, you know, mediums doesn't matter. It shouldn't actually. So it was difficult, I must say. It took a lot of time, but I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's possible and it's happening. And
you're with Hrithik Roshan.
See?
And you know, it's not just actors, even poor cricketers. He's a test cricketer. He's a one-day cricketer. He cannot play T20 cricket. So we'll always have these little bits that we'll add to it. One or two bits that we add to Hrithik Roshan as superstar I really like. Because I really do believe that I think you're one of the most loved actors. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
You've not been around that long also, but from your very first film, there's a lot of the things that, you know, have gone with it. Because of you, we started going to a gym. Because of you, we realized that we can't dance.
So many posters of Hrithik in the gym.
You know, because of you, TikTok has become famous also because they dance like you also. And those feet that they move. So many things that have gone in your favor, and a lot of bits you've also changed. You've chosen to do films and chosen to do roles that have been very difficult, that have pushed the envelope acting-wise. Super 30 is another one of them. But, you know, you do choose very carefully as to your imaging that you want to put across, maybe, you know, the year or so, don't you?
Well, first of all, for whatever it's worth, I'm really glad that you made the switch, whatever that is called. Very happy that you're a part of this film, Mrunal. Because I've had such a wonderful time working with you. It's beautiful. It's one of the sweetest love stories that I have had the experience working with for whatever.
I'm blushing, sorry.
But now, coming to your...
It's on print now, it's everywhere, you know, he says lovely things. Yeah.
So, your question was what?
Choice of film.
I forgot.
Do you have to plan it out? You know, I say this. Very good-looking men have to choose.
You're saying that I choose very carefully.
Yeah, so sometimes did you end up choosing like a Super 30 also because it'll push you much more?
It's really the opposite of what you're saying. Because a film that impacts me, see, what I do is very hard for me to do. So I really need to be motivated to be able to survive those 100 days of discomfort, because I get very uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable shooting of it?
With what I do, for whatever reasons. Yeah. Okay, so I really need to find a script that makes so much impact, and it reflects something inside me so powerfully that I would be willing to get that uncomfortable, be willing to give my right arm. I'd be willing to take the pain and whatever, the sweat and whatever. So I need to find those platforms that would empower me to give my best. Because I can't do the middle path. I've tried and I just can't. I can either give my best or nothing at all. The middle path just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I wish it did. It doesn't work. Somehow I don't enjoy myself when I am not being pushed to my edge. if I'm not living at the edge of my potential, not only that, but edge of the potential and leaning just a little bit more forward, just enough between that fear and safety where that line is. Just there is where I enjoy the maximum.
But
And
then there's a risk there as well. I mean,
that's the joy. That's the part of the joy. I don't know. It just ignites me. I need to be ignited. Otherwise, life becomes very. This is something I teach my kids also. That kill the monotony before it murders the enthusiasm. Monotony for me is something that is poison. So I keep realizing this, and I keep saying this to myself and to my kids. Kill the monotony before it murders your enthusiasm. Because one day will come, if you keep repeatedly doing the same thing, one day will come, you will say, "Arey, aaj nahi jana kaam pe yaar." I don't want that day to
Looking at your kids' holidays, I don't think there's any monotony in that at all. If you follow the kids,
that's a different world only. I call it a vacation, but actually it's the opposite. It's just work. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
there, I think Hrithik has to perform for the children all the time, and that's a different zone. But when you say that risk, a lot of stars, a lot of superstars, when they've got like this big fan following, you've got an incredible fan following, you've got this incredible responsibility, you know that you've got to make it work sometimes. That risk sometimes, would you second guess yourself also? Being a star, because a lot of actors, when they don't have much to lose, you can take any risk that you want.
Three things this reminds me of. Three values that I live by. One is always have a sense of humor, of course. So when things go wrong, and then go even more wrong, you have to laugh and say, "Arey, ye bhi ho sakta hai." Sense of humor. Second one is an answer to your question. Is never ever second guess yourself.
Right.
At a time when you are in a position where you have to do one of two things, decide. Just make a decision and don't second guess yourself, because one way or the other, it is going to help you. But if you stay in that dilemma, that is ek to suffering, and upar se the bear that has come in front of you will kill you. So if you're deciding whether to stay still or to run, if there's a bhalu or whatever, if you're still or run, he will eat you. So you should never second guess yourself. Make a strong decision and go with it. One way or the other, you will learn. If it's a wrong one, you will learn. If it's right, you will learn. So, but don't stay in that.
Sound advice. Not everybody can follow it sometimes. I mean, on paper it sounds good sometimes, but if you do take that path, I think it works. You probably did the same thing as well.
Yes.
I better do this or no looking back.
Yeah.
Coming on board this film, I think obviously there's an excitement, which I read. Obviously that you realize that Hrithik Roshan was on board much later after you'd auditioned.
Yeah, I auditioned like 6 months earlier, where I did not know much about the project. I only knew that there's a film being made on Super 30. And I auditioned and I forgot about it. And
it's like the many auditions that you go for.
yeah, that's one thing that what I do is I test and I forget, because the moment you start thinking about expectation kills you. But somewhere down the line that I have performed well, I've given my 100%. So I forgot about it, and one fine day there was another bunch of rounds going on, and when that call happened, and that's when I got to know it's the Hrithik Roshan film, and I was like,
ouch.
Now my pressure, the pressure on my shoulder, I felt even more responsible. And somewhere down the line, I was told that we'll do one more round with the director. We'll do one more round, and it's like, kya main itni buri hu yaar?
This is like an MBA entrance that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, tougher than that. I gave my CET entrance exam. It was way easier than this.
And so when you meet Hrithik Roshan for the first time, are there those butterflies? Because you've got all these images of the various films that are there in your head.
I was counting pillows on his couch.
What?
Yeah, because I did not know, the best way to
How many does he have?
The best thing is I don't know. So I would keep fidgeting with the pillow, yahan se wahan, yahan se wahan. He walks in like, so chill. And he asked me, do you want to eat something? I was like, no. And then we just had a chat about
The first
how...
thing I said is, do you want to eat something?
Yeah. Even though I wanted to say yes, I was like, no, thank you.
I think it goes both ways. Yeah? Even I was nervous. I was anxious because you're hoping that you'll get to work with a co-star who is going to be willing to
Go the extra mile.
Go the extra mile, allow you to make mistakes, allow you to be vulnerable because you're also trying to figure out your character and all of that. And I could have not asked for a better co-star.
Yeah, it's always good to have, like even Hrithik, it's always give and take. It's not always, sometimes it happens that there are few co-actors who expect you to do something in a certain way.
Because they want to do something, and for that to happen, they want you to do something.
The exact reaction should come so that I can give this
So I can give that.
Yeah, but this was not the situation. Here, we wanted to explore more about Anand and Supriya respectively. And what was even more important was the backstory. The backstory is very important. How did we meet? How did we fall in love? Who patao? Who, and where they must be meeting because it's Patna, it's 2000. It's, ladke haath pakad ke thodi na ghumte
बहुत अलग zone था.
very different zone. So also, how did that happen? That who made the first attempt? Who looked at, did Anand looked at Supriya or Supriya made that? So we were trying to explore all of that, and I'm so blessed that we had those situations. When you have the script, when you have the dialogues, you get you focus so much on the script and you focus so much on the dialogue, but we had a situation here. Just talk whatever you want to. Dialogues can just lead, the scene can lead anywhere, but the intention is that, but the sketch looks like, you're meeting for the first time. And how you would lead the conversation, so it's up to you. So I had that much of liberty. I
love the excitement.
We improvised a lot. And
it was amazing. I had this fear of, I went to him, I was like, Hrithik, I'm not going to call you Hrithik sir, because, the moment I call you sir, I'm going to, and I also have to add,
Actually, can I just be honest with you? I also get into this in-between category. Should I call you Hrithik sir or should I call you Hrithik? Because you're not that much elder too. But you get but that's out of respect. I would call you Hrithik sir out of respect because, can I just tell you something? I have these silly man-fawning moments when I see you dance.
Yeah.
Kaise hil rahe hain, kaise ye kar rahe hain. It works. Very few people have these man zones with us in our industry. So yeah.
I think, thanks, but I really think that for someone like me, I don't have any egos. I don't I don't command respect. I think that is something that should be welcomed and not demanded. So I'm cool. But I think it's very important for the person who is deciding in his own head whether I should call sir or not. You have to ask yourself, what kind of a relationship do I want with this person? Do I want to be a friend of this guy, or do I want to be? Should there be this distance of respect, or do I need to break that and be a friend? It's just as simple as that.
You managed to break it here because you're
sometimes I've had to actually tell my directors that I had to break that wall of respect so that I can fight a little bit more. So it's a good call. It's a good question to ask yourself.
But it did change the chemistry that Anand and Supriya had day one.
Yeah.
That conversation, it really changed and it elevated, and we could feel it, Yeah,
I mean, if you're calling him sir and then trying to get a romance going, not working. We'll take a little break and come right back. It's an amazing story. When you're watching a film, especially these films where you suddenly go, oh, let me just check on Wikipedia. Is this part of that film and all? It just changes the equation, and how much of it is that we would know, how much is the story of Anand, we'll find out in just a bit. Don't worry, you're on B4U with me, Salil. Hello, welcome to B4U Star Stop. You're with me, Salil, and yes, you can fawn all you want, and we have one of those eye candy moments when we see Hrithik Roshan every time. Though it's not that zone with this. And it's a little odd to call him eye candy, but sadly, he will continue to be eye candy for all of us. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, Mrunal, making waves everywhere with Love Sonia, our first film. Very interesting film for a person to actually choose. Great reviews on that. Even this, you all are getting some great accolades. But there was also this other world that came in that said that I'm not sure whether this is as realistic, this Super 30 trailer. And for that, I had the answer. If Hrithik Roshan had not done a Super 30, he wouldn't have known about it. It wouldn't have come out. It probably wouldn't have even released. So was that also a point in your head, to get the accent, to work on the look, all those kind of things, that there must be a lot of thought that went into making that right as well?
Yeah, the exterior is really just it's a craft.
Yeah.
The exterior is a craft. I mean, you can do whatever you can with your hair and your clothes and your makeup and all of that, but it doesn't really matter. What really matters is the emotional expression to match, to be emotionally connected with that character, to live that emotional journey. That is where the connect needs to happen. Everything else, the inner world needs to transform. The exterior is really not important. That's my philosophy. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the craft also. I enjoy the craft of getting the hair and the makeup. All those devices help you. They help you, but it will do nothing for you if you're not feeling it. If you're not
But
feeling
I'll
the
tell
character.
you,
So once I felt the character, everything else was very easy for me.
my entire crew sitting at the back says this kind of film should work. They've got kids, they want to see this. It's a story of triumph. They want to see the story of triumph where people who don't have it can actually triumph. And I think that's where it's touched the core of a lot of India.
I think it's a story of hope. It's a story that is telling our children to dream. Okay, you dream, you dream the impossible. And don't worry, we'll get you there. We who have grown up, and we have, we who are your guardians, or we who are your teachers, or whatever, you dream, we'll get you there. We'll find a way. That is, I think, what Anand is trying to do in the film and say in the film, that look at me, take me as an example, and contribute. Contribute. There are a lot of successful people in this world who have reached the heights of whatever, stardom or this and that, and yet they protect themselves and do not share what they've learned. Because they feel scared. अगर मैंने बता दिया तो मेरा जो myth है, magic है, वो फुस हो जाएगा. They'll come to know. But that is what Anand is saying is wrong.
But it's pretty much like your story also. If you had a dream, you really worked very hard to do it. I mean, I remember the acting, the performance, the dance. You made it look so fantastic now, but there was that struggle to make sure that it became perfect also.
Yeah.
Very much like how you were as well.
Probably that is why I connected with the characters so much, because what Anand saw in those kids was his childhood. And that, I think, is where I connect with this character a lot, because,
Hrithik Roshan was a different Hrithik Roshan in his youth. What about you? Were you a good student? Were you a teacher's pet in your childhood?
I was a shy kid. I changed around 11 schools. So before because my dad is not army, banker. Before I made friends, I got to know that, you have to move from one school to another.
Banker moving 11 schools?
Bankers, when he get transferred.
So many transfers.
Yeah. So before I could cope up with my academy, with my studies, I would be like, 60, 65, 70% was the max that I could. A few times I remember I get my admission on August 1st, which was my birthday, and 12th of August onwards, I had my first unit test. So I was decent. Maths, I was...
Maths is like a big problem for everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah.
But if you ask me maths questions today...
No, I'm not going to do that, don't worry.
Thank you.
Can I just do simple mathematics?
No,
multiplication. 12 times 12.
264.
No. 144.
See, I told you, don't ask me maths questions.
No, we're not going to do that. But were you scared of maths ever? Maths was...
I'm scared of maths right now.
Yeah.
Because you never know, he might just ask one more of these calculation questions.
No, I'm not going to ask you. But
I'm scared right now.
But as far as your maths is concerned, I know you know numbers, you've been a producer. So the Friday maths, does that ever scare you, or a Saturday afternoon maths?
No. Doesn't scare me, because mostly I know.
Yeah.
Mostly when I see my first copy. I know exactly what the film is going to do. Maybe not exactly to the number, but I have a upper marker and a lower marker. And I actually have never gone wrong
Really?
so far in my life.
So what if it hasn't lived up to what you had wanted it to be before
It's
it
never
started?
happened.
Really?
Huh?
No, when you started shooting the film,
Yeah.
you've got an idea what the
That
film-
happens.
Yeah.
That happens. That
But then
happens.
do you
and
get disappointed now? Would you sit and do like a post-mortem?
disappointment, yeah, but that disappointment is what? It's like 5 seconds. And then you start to think about, okay, what were my mistakes and what got me to where I am right now and what should I not do next time? It's simple.
Right.
I think, eventually over a period of time, you start to realize that it's a part and parcel of it. You cannot have a home run or a 36 over match in your life all the time. When you see this film, you must be very proud, of course. I mean, the end product is probably going to change. Yeah, this is a lovely time, the last 2 years, so much has changed. So many films for interiors are being made, so many films that are doing well. I mean, as an actor, you must have noticed such a huge change in the last 1.5 years. The kind of cinema that is working, the kind of cinema that is being tried. Does that excite you also?
Yeah, of course it does. I think a lot of different kind of content is going to be out there now. A lot of the melodrama has been, it's ceased to exist. It's becoming more real, and that is because the collective consciousness of the society is evolving. And films are nothing but a reflection of that.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we are all evolving and our films are changing. It is becoming even more subtle, even more deeper. It's more nuanced. It's more magical because it's real. Yeah. So it's a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time to be in this field, to be a creative mind, to be able to contribute to this wave is absolutely a wonderful place to be in right now.
And I think it's the perfect time for you to have made an entry in.
Yeah, if I may add to what Hrithik just said, I feel the Indian audience is changing. When I entered Bollywood in 2018, the Indian audience was ready to, like, they were in the phase where they were not, they thought, should we watch a film like Love Sonia? It's a maybe, but it's must. So, we have to, but it's a dark film. So, should we or should we not? But they realize that this is happening in the society, so they better watch it. And I feel like it's very important for the Indian audience to, in a way, I'm falling short of words, but I'm very happy that there is a transition.
Of course.
There are films made like Love Sonia, Super 30. Yeah. I mean, imagine Anand Kumar.
Article 15 recently.
Article 15
very difficult
recently.
film to watch.
I absolutely loved it, and kudos to the entire team. We need such stories which are deserved to be told in front of the audience. The audience need to know. Audience need to know that there is a man called Anand Kumar who inspired, who's got he doesn't have any help, but still on his own he's trying to educate 30 students every year right from 2002 until now, and it is non-stop. He had the luxury to go to, he had the chance to go to travel abroad. He didn't. He preferred to be here and educate the students. I mean, this is amazing. We want more people from different fields to come up and start such kind of initiative.
I think we love the story of underdogs as well. Even though in this case Anand is not really an underdog, but the situation was a very underdog situation, and they can win. I think it just brings a smile to everyone's face, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen with this film. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I see another very big purple patch coming in your career with this one as well, sir. And congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant second choice. I think it's all about the choices that they make. Remember the blue pill and the red pill, Matrix? Well, they made the right choice, man. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.